Welcome back, everyone. It's Sarah
Gianluca.
and this is the part two primary mathology instructional video. We're going to go into the tabs, the about and the lesson tabs today. So I've pinned our grade two um, long range plans to my homepage, and we're going to go into the patterning and algebra lesson cluster. And in the previous video, Gianluca went over the little books. So we're going to hop into this lesson on increasing and decreasing patterns. So when you go into a lesson, it opens up in this About tab, and that gives you some background information about the lesson. Some important stuff you might want to look at are what curriculum expectations the lesson is addressing. There is a focus for the lesson, which you could reword into a learning goal for your students. And then the amount of time that the lesson will take is up here in the right corner. And then all of the stuff you need to teach the lesson is found under the lesson tab. Okay. The lessons are three parts there's a before, a what to do, which is like a task that the students are doing, and then consolidation. All the instructions for how to run the lesson are here. And this is for you. This isn't for the students. This is for you to read so you know what you need to do in the lesson. If your school has the kits, you also have this card, which has the lesson. Everything we're looking at on the screen is also on here. So you could read it off of here. You can print this if your school doesn't have the kits, or you could make yourself a little slideshow or read it off of the computer screen like I'm doing. So the first part of the lesson is the before. So like a mind's on to get them ready for what they're about to learn. In this one, it's making like a physical train out of the student. So it gives you instructions on what you would say and how you would get students to participate in that. Then the next part is the what to do, the activity the students are doing. And this makes use of the cards that are in the activity kits if you have them. So this one's saying to use activity card 7A. So you would go and find that one. If you have the kit, you have 10 of these. So you can have your students use these and work in partners. If you don't have the kit, you could print this, give them to students, or if you think your students would be fine with this image just projected on your Bright Links, you could do that as well. And the students are going to have physical tiles to make these. Okay, they just need to be able to see the patterns. The what to do tells you what you need to tell the students to do. So for this activity, you have to give them the tiles and tell them to build the first increasing pattern, write the number of tiles, and write the pattern rule. There's also some probing questions that you can use while students are working on the task to engage in some conversations with them about math. Like, how did you build the pattern? How did you use numbers to show the pattern? So these will give you some things that you can use to guide those conversations. For your students that need some accommodations, they give some differentiation ideas here. So if you have students that need accommodations or ones that need extensions, that maybe this was really easy for them and you want to give them an extension, they give you some ideas for that as well. When you're done with the activity, with the what to do, that's when you're going to want to consolidate. So this is an important part of the lesson. And this is a lot of it is a conversation, but mathology will guide you through how that conversation could go. So here it has them having the students share how they found the pattern rule, and then says that as the teacher, you could model some other ways that maybe students didn't come up with. And it tells you the important things you want students to get out of this. They put that under highlight for students, and those could be the success criteria that you use to determine if students have met learning goals. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go up here now. So then we have differentiated support. So you've done the lesson, and now some of your students got it, and maybe some of them didn't. So what's next? So under differentiated support, there's mini lessons. So the one that says on grade, this is a good lesson that you can use to have students do while you're working in small groups with the other students. So you can set them up with this activity. It's to be done in pairs. So get them set up, and then while the students are working on that, you're using these mini lessons in small groups. So maybe you have a group of students that had difficulty identifying the pattern rule. So you do this mini lesson with them. These are designed to be about 10 minutes because it's just with a small group. So you don't want to leave the rest of the class on their own for too long. So these are just really short lessons to help you address those misconceptions. And if you had students that needed extensions, they offer that too. So you can also do small group with students who are ready to move on to something a little more challenging. Also, if you have specific misconceptions that your students were having, they give you some ideas of how to address that. So for this lesson, you might have some students that think they don't have to include the start number in a pattern rule. So it gives you an idea of what you can do to address that. And then after the lesson, there's activities to do in class and activities to do at home. So these are some things you could do if you have time at the end of class that day, or maybe something you do tomorrow in class. And then there's some things that students can do at home to extend their learning as well. So you might want to pop some of these into your monthly or weekly newsletter for students to do at home with their parents. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Gianluca to wrap things up here.
Okay, so there are still additional supplementary material that you can use, and I'll show you where to find those. Unfortunately, they're not in the long range plan. You'll have to go and browse them through curriculum. Okay, so we're just going to pick grade 2. And I'm going to pick the numbers strand this time because a lot of these activities are in the numbers strand. There are some, but very few, sprinkled through in the other strands, but the vast majority are in the number strand. So we're going to go there. I'll just pick the B1 expectation. And here you'll notice if you look at the bottom blue part where it says math every day, these are the activities that I'm referring to. So you can see that there are very many of them in this expectation. So we're just going to click one just to show you what it looks like. So again, it has the tabs that are found in the lesson part. But now the activity card is basically what to do. So this is great to include in your small group instruction. Okay. Or you can include this task for independent practice as well. So kind of depending what will be better suited for your class. Okay, so I just wanted to point those out. Okay, again, there need to be in the browse by curriculum, and then, like I said, there are some in other strands. For example, coding. I believe with this expectation. Nope, not this one. Maybe the other one. 1.1. Yeah, there it is, math every day. Okay, and as you can see, there's not as many. Okay, well, we've come to an end of this video. So again, thanks for watching. And remember,
From zero to infinity, we've got your math journey covered.